Sahib, how are you?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, how are you, Abdullah?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everything?
Everything is going as per God's plan. I'm pretty happy with everything.
How has everything been since we last spoke about AI's impact on workplaces, personal lives, career-wise? Did it impact you in any way? I'm just checking up on you.
Things are changing really fast,
Okay.
and we must keep up with the pace.
All right.
So, I just heard of a few other models coming out. So, they're pretty advanced, and we're trying to keep up with them and the requirements as well. So, there are few use cases we're working on. Just a week ago, we couldn't have imagined about how to, even if they are possible or not. But now, they are.
I mean, to be honest, in order to keep yourself up with the pace of new AI models coming out, it's kind of becoming very hectic. Like one day it's OpenAI releasing some sort of new model, then the next day it's Anthropic, the next day somebody else. So it's kind of becoming hectic for people in the market to keep up with them, right? So I mean, it's sort of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing that the new models are coming out, the capabilities are getting better and better with every day. So yes, so should our capability to use those models.
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to those small devices coming out. Raspberry Pi
Yeah.
announced, like you mentioned in our earlier podcast, and Apple also came up with their small device.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It just I was just scrolling and I came across. I don't remember the name, but they came up with this device that can run small LLM models, and they're very powerful.
I
So
think
and the world is now ultimately switching to these models, smaller models.
I think we could expect a lot more innovation when it comes to device wise from Apple, since they made their hardware engineer as their CEO. I'm not sure if he is a hardware engineer or some sort of an engineer. Okay, he's been with them for about like 20
Jim
years.
Cook stepped down as
Yeah,
CEO.
yeah. Tim Cook stepped down, and then like this guy is taking over. I don't remember his name. So we can expect a lot from Apple now. I think
Exactly.
so
Because he's a new guy and he would want to do a lot of new.
I mean, not only he's a new guy, he's been in the product like for a really long time. He's been working on the product, so we can expect more. How do you say we could expect a lot more coming from Apple now.
Yes.
Because Tim Cook was more like a CEO, like he was like I think finance pro, but like this guy is like a really tech guy.
He's a tech guy.
He's been working
Yes.
on devices for about 20 years now. So
Just like Sundar Pichai, he's a tech guy as well.
yeah, I mean, but like I've heard from some people, like they say like Google seem to be going downhill because they've been like really like people are complaining a little bit. I think people just tend to complain a lot. Sometimes.
I think Google has been in the limelight for quite some time, and there has been some issues in their organization, socially as well, and as well as corporate-wise, their
Yeah.
decisions and the few things that costed them a lot. But I think that Gemini is doing pretty good.
Really?
2 months back, just like I mentioned in the beginning, we were exploring a use case and we couldn't have done it a week earlier. So we were exploring another use case about imaging, and we couldn't have done it without Gemini.
Really? So
Yeah.
like how
Two-
often?
2 months back. This is 2 months back.
Really?
But now, ChatGPT has come up with a really nice.
Sora 2, I guess.
No, they've discarded Sora.
Really?
Yeah.
So
ChatGPT is not.
okay.
Moving ahead with Sora.
So how often do you use like Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini? Like we are comparing them right now. Like we are talking in like tech sense. Like how much you use either of those three while working. Like how often do they actually help?
Yeah, they're pretty much each of these products. Therefore, they have uniqueness in terms of design and how they respond. So, as if you're looking at it as a designer,
Yeah.
so if you give a prompt to Gemini, so you will get all the designs in a similar way. as if like it's using a fixed library. So you will not get any differentiation. Like if you give a prompt and I give a prompt, it's going to produce the same stuff. So like if you talk about Notebook LLM, it's one of the offering by
Google as well,
Google
yeah.
LLM. So it's a really nice product, but it's not something which you can use for products, because it's the same. All of their designs, all of their presentations, infographics, it's the same. It looks the same. The moment you look at it, you will recognize this is straight coming from Gemini. And let's say that two companies are using the same thing, so they will look the same. There is no differentiation. So if you go with Claude, we have the same issue. They're using some other libraries, and so their images or clips, if you give them, if you ask for the clips, they will be producing it in a similar manner. And if you talk about we have Claude, we have ChatGPT, and we have Gemini, and then we have Copilot as well. So I think Copilot is a bit more on the corporate front. Like they're more working on email integration, and email summarization, and everything. We have that feature in Google Mail as well, Gmail as well. But I think since most corporate users are using Teams, they're using Microsoft
Yeah.
product. So I think they're working more on Teams integration,
Yeah.
how they can collaborate, and how AI can assist through those mediums. So like an AI employee,
Yeah.
AI employee assistant, or while you're working, so you don't have to worry about it. So there's a, and by the way, we're also working on a product concept that has a similar theme. So
The chat one, right?
not exactly the chat one. Chat one is pretty common,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much uh, the basic concept. But the thing that Microsoft is working, they're basically working on making your ecosystem one touch.
Okay.
I don't have to open my email every time. I don't have to check my calendar every time. I don't have to take notes every time. It does it all for me, and then I don't have to open it and specifically browse or click on different options to get to that place. No? It's all in one place.
All right. So, I mean, like, from what I understand from using all those three different models, is like they, especially when it comes to, I mean, not when it comes to only creating images, it's when it comes to everything, they tend to follow a certain tone and theme, right?
Exactly.
It could be very easily distinguished when you see those pictures. So, coming back to this, like in the last conversation we had, you mentioned something about more and more companies going towards a native AI, in-house AI, LLMs. So, what does future hold for in-house LLMs? I know with you, along you, we have spoken to a lot of companies who are demanding in-house LLMs, native AIs, for security purposes, for making their AI more specific to their case. So, what does future hold? Like, where do you see this side going in next couple of years?
We are looking at, as per my understanding, organizations, big tech producers, they already started working on smaller but powerful machines that can run LLM models. So I know a few companies, they have discarded Claude or ChatGPTs, and they come up with their own very small models, and they've given that model to the developers to
Why do you
use.
think like a lot of companies they are sort of leaving Claude, ChatGPT, or whatever AI's extensions they were using for the AI purposes? Why is that?
There are two things.
Yeah.
One is expense.
Okay.
The second is security.
If we compare, like comparatively, like how cheap would it be to have your own AI, like own LLM?
It's not a big deal. You just need a good hardware, and we are already seeing companies coming up with good hardware. You just need to invest in those, and those are not very expensive as well. Recently, Nvidia, they came up with a very small chip,
Yeah.
a very small computer, and that cost around $250.
Okay.
That's how cheap it is, and Raspberry Pi is, I think, even cheaper than that. And Apple is a bit expensive, but you can get all that under $1,000.
I mean, those ones could process the an LLM. Like you're telling me, like those
Smaller,
devices.
not like the ones we have in GP.
No, no, I'm not talking about on a bigger scale, but like then there could be this problem. Like you have to train those LLMs as well. If you compare them with the LLMs present, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever we have, they are trained on vast data, right? When you compare them to building a new LLM from scratch, I think you will have issues with training.
I think we have crossed that threshold. So there are ways that we can train a smaller, you know, we have data, right? So we can have access to data. And if you're talking about a company who wants to use for a different use case, let's say if a software company, they want to use AI for development,
Okay.
right? So they have enough data, so in-house as well, and they can train that, because right now what organizations are losing is their personality, what they, how they used to think and how they used to produce, right? If you go out there and search for any application coming out these days, there are thousands of applications coming out every week, and you cannot really tell the difference. The UI is very similar to each other, and you can easily tell that this is created by AI, and it has a
A certain tone,
same
yeah,
look and
yeah.
feel, same tone, same libraries being used by
Yeah.
everybody. So like this is a basic problem, and this is a critical problem as well, because you're losing your brand recognition, because everything has a personality, and brand has a personality, color schemes, the way you design buttons, the way you design your page. Now it's all getting submerged in under a single design philosophy, which most people don't like, and you can also tell from the consumer behavior, because if you go and look at the reels on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, they all look similar.
What we call AI slob.
Yeah, slow. And people are losing interest. They don't stay that much longer, and they intend to stay more on a certain video or reel,
Yeah.
where they will find a real human doing something.
I mean, yeah, it could make sense. Like when I doom scroll every time I go back home from work. So I don't like the moment I realize it could be an AI video, it could be an AI slap. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna go watch a video of somebody who's actually a human who had some, like, had put like some effort into making this thing. So anyway, there is something very interesting came up. Like I think few weeks ago, Atlassian, right? The famous for Jira tool and other tools like that. They made their chief people officer also the head of AI enablement. Right?
Yeah.
It was interesting for me to see those. Like I mean, we know we work with people like who are working in this field, and we are trying to kind of convince them how we can make it efficient if they start using AI in some capacity. I mean, it's not the replacement, rather it's a tool to give you your time back.
Yeah.
So
That's
how do you see that move by Atlassian?
that's I think that's a move to have this strategy cohesively implemented across the organization, and usually it usually is with the excuse me, I'm gonna feel good. Got a call coming. Okay, thank you. So head of people to talent managers, so everyone working in that field, they have a really good understanding of how people work and how people react to different change in the organization, and how can people adapt to technology. So AI enablement is an initiative that every organization is working on. They want to make every employee more capable. They want to make every employee more efficient. And if they place that responsibility with the IT, that's very challenging for an IT department to implement that. Because there's a big gap between the employees and the IT department. And usually, IT department is seen as, kind of very
The people who fixes the problem you are having on your computer
on your
and those.
laptop.
I mean,
I tell you, there's a funny story. We back like many years back, I implemented a process in a certain organization. So it was a process that had to do with approvals. So users, they just needed to fill in the form and submit that form for approvals. So it went for approvals, approval A, B, C, D, based on the logic, and then it came back with the approved copy. Okay, now your request is now approved. Now and it produced a PDF, right? So and then the user was not able to print that PDF, so they locked a ticket with the enterprise with our since your application is not working properly. Okay, fine. Let's see. So I went into the call and talked to. She was basically very high up in the organization, like a VP, and she tended to do all the stuff on her own. So when I had a screen sharing session and saw the problem, so she wasn't able to print it out because the printer wasn't plugged in.
The whole time the printer wasn't plugged in.
Yes. So the application, end result was PDF, but
Yeah.
the PDF was she wasn't able to print the PDF because the printer wasn't plugged in properly.
I mean, I don't know, like
So you will have you will interact with users who are not very tech savvy, and they need help.
I mean,
So
but like if you look at that, like, wouldn't it be more suitable for a technology officer to be in charge for AI enablement as compared to a people officer?
it's not anymore about technology. As you see, it's about business. It's about what is required, not how it's to be done. How this is to be done can be handled by technology people, but head of people, as you mentioned, is the right person to have this executed, because this is attached to HR, so they can implement this as a policy. They can come up with training programs. They can come up with many initiatives that they can, and they can drive this policy of AI enablement. And where is it required? I mean, IT doesn't know where to implement what. They just know how to do it.
I mean, like, this brings to a very interesting piece of technology you were showing me the other day, the hire to retire product, right? The product SLS is working on continuously. It's improving. So I found that one certain thing in there very interesting. It was like when you become an employee and they have an HCM, proper HCM in place, you get to see what courses, what skills you could learn to improve yourself, right? I mean, it's the AI doing the job all the time for you. They are continuously analyzing you, right? Your skills, what you do at the company, and then they keep suggesting you what you should do. And I think if this is something that's implemented in the company, the employees will feel more comfortable, right? Rather than being feel threatened by
Yeah.
AI.
Employees will feel empowered, because in a traditional organization they don't have that visibility, and that outreach, what other things that they can do.
I mean, a person could be working in a company for about 10 years and he absolutely has no idea like where he is heading.
Exactly. And AI, if somebody is even like very much not passionate about anything or growth, AI can push them. At least it can trigger that thought process. Okay, fine, you're here in this organization like for so many years. What next? What do you want to do? What do you want to become? How do you want to improve yourself? How do you want to move on and improve yourself?
All right. So I mean, and then there was this one case study we were studying. I remember this one case study we were studying the other day, that like at one company that has implemented the HCM. So like they shared this about succession, okay? it will come back to the same thing about like learning how to improve yourself. So it's a really fast growing company. Okay, so like suddenly a manager, like a sales manager, I think yeah, sales manager, he left the company. Okay, now they are panicking like who's going to be there. And then like there is this like succession thingy in the HCM. So it suggested two employees within the company. They did not have to look outside. They did not have to look through the CVs and wait for people to show up and interview them. No, it gave two suggestions, right, within the company, like from out of like I think 100 or 120 employees they had in that department. So it gave two employees, one with exceptional sales record, the other not so good with sales, but very good with leadership skills.
And that is proactive, because it also has the feature to detect flight risk. If that sales manager or sales VP is about to leave, the AI can detect that based on a number of variables.
Like what?
Like his reports, his emails, that he's sending and receiving, because
Wouldn't it be like breach of privacy, like if this is being happening?
not in the context of his personal emails. Like, he has a meeting, so AI has access to the meeting calendars as well, like
Yeah.
the kind of interest the
The person is
the person is
showing.
showing in the meeting, arriving on time, no, and there's certain other indicators as well, because this particular part is not visible to everybody. This is only visible to
The people leaders, HR
the people
managers, yeah.
leaders, not all people leaders, very senior people leaders who can detect a flight risk. Let's say it's very common, like people traveling for different conferences, meeting different people, and then social media is pretty common. I mean, these
Yeah.
days, to highlight any such rumors and concerns, right?
Yeah.
So AI detecting those rumors, and uh, a person meeting with a senior executive of some other company, and they had um a conversation on certain aspect. So, and that got leaked, and then if that is credible, the AI would basically take that as one of the factors as well. But there are multiple factors,
All
and
right.
each organization can, they have different way of doing that, and detect the impact on the business. So it's not about d- detecting every emails, but those are public, public
I mean,
memos.
I think like I misunderstood. I think you meant like the emails within the organization between the employees, like the work related stuff, like how much interest he is
The
showing.
interest, the information that is going into reports,
Yeah.
uh, that the statements that the executive is making publicly, and also usually the HR is also observing the grapevine. The grapevine is something which which is informal way of communicating stuff which is happening across the country. So this is kind of a jargon that they use in the corporate.
I mean, it's if you look at that way, like if the operational friction is removed from the HR HR's daily life, right? They could actually focus on people. They could actually focus on people, and they could actually focus on what they are supposed to do. focusing on people. Like they could put more energy into betterment of the people of that company, because now I see, like, I don't know how true it is, but in my experience, the HR and people officer and all those people, they have been really reduced to hiring and firing.
No, it's not.
I mean,
HR has a lot to
a
do.
lot to do. No,
It's
no,
not
I'm
just,
just
yeah.
saying, like, like in normal days, like, right, like a normal day, HR is extremely busy with those things. In a busy corporate, a busy company.
Yeah, and those two buzzwords, like hiring and firing, is not just a single process. It is backed by multiple processes that's happening in the back end. So it's a lot of work that they have to put in, getting the right people on inside the company, promoting the right people to grow in the company, and obviously when people grow, company grow. So HR, there's a saying in the army,
Yeah.
usually. So, I mean, there are two types of leaders, right? Or people who get the work right.
Yeah.
One is not a very good person. The
Okay.
other is very good person. But how do you differentiate between the two? How do you identify who can get the job done as well as who can be a productive, or you can say a positive inspiration for others in the growth process? Because there are people who are really sharp, there are people who are highly skilled, but they are very negative. They are they can result as um, catastrophe for.
They bring negative energy, like those kind of people, like it not only it impacts them, but their surrounding as well. So I mean, obviously they are going to communicate with other employees within the company. So I mean, if a lot of negative people are,
I've seen a lot of companies shutting down, a lot of departments shutting down just because of one person. He was not, you can say, unskilled. He was a brilliant employee,
okay,
but he turned out to be
really negative person.
really negative person for the company.
Yeah, but like some sort of pain in the head.
So this is something which is a major work for the talent managers, for the HR,
Okay.
and with the help of AI, they will be having ample time to work on these areas, and HR can help as well in these areas.
Yeah.
AI can help in these areas because she or he, the HR manager, will have the data to back up if mostly there are evidences.
Gut feelings, evidences,
Yeah,
and but
because
like,
usually they don't have evidences
yeah,
to take any action. You
yeah,
cannot take any action unless you have evidence, right? So if you have the right data and you have designed, configured your AI in a way that it can detect those things, then you will have the data, and you'll be much better informed to make a decision.
I mean, I think it will be more easier to communicate for an HR with an employee as well when they have all the data as well. Like
Yeah.
there is something that is giving them reports, live reports. It's not the quarterly report about employees. It's just like something live happening. Like it's like, you know, like when somebody hands in their resignation, right? And then you are suddenly shocked, like what has happened. I mean, signals were there like a couple of months ago.
Exactly, and those are not recorded. Those are
Those
just observations,
observations.
and but there is no concrete evidence that you can take any
There
action or
is
something.
nothing that is monitoring those things,
Monitoring
right?
those
That
things.
there is nothing that is
So
giving you that information.
yeah, and so there is one other initiative that we are working on right now, and that initiative is about basically about resource management. So when you do a resource management, you are essentially dealing with people directly. So not everybody can work with everybody. I mean, if you have to work with somebody you don't like, how would you feel? How will you get along with that person? Huh? So that was a great challenge for the AI. How do we do that? If we have to make a team, if we
Like,
have to allocate a person in a certain team, and we have seen in many cases that there is friction.
I mean, like, yeah, like compatible people have to be in a same team, right?
Exactly.
You cannot put like two different kind of people in the same team.
That is a challenge.
Obviously, there is going to be
Yes.
a personality clash that could, I think, that would impact the productivity of that employee.
No, not just the employee,
I mean, the surrounding as well,
of
yeah.
the project as well. Because if things are not moving in the right pace, there is friction, there is blame game, things will not move on.
So how does it the module that you are currently working on? How would that resolve this thing? What would be the idea behind it?
Personality tests.
Okay, how accurate do you think it would be?
It's about 70 to 80% accurate. So we're still training those models, and it's working really, because it's when we put it in practice, so we can reconfigure, readjust the settings, how best to um, merge the teams or allocate teams. So we know that these two people cannot work together, and this is the biggest problem not many people talk about in the organization. They mostly they try to avoid this, or just not to trigger any confrontation.
I mean, it's kind of like an awkward conversation, like people like tend to avoid, especially
Exactly.
the administration side of things. They
Exactly.
tend to avoid these things, these awkward
Exactly.
conversations. But I think when you
And
have a system in place, it could be a lot easier for you to communicate with your employees by saying, I mean, it's just the system analyzing everything, and they are putting you in different teams and stuff like that.
exactly. So this test is not only done when you're hired.
Yeah.
It's done when you're hiring as well.
Okay.
And the AI will detect everything, the traits, the personality, likes, dislikes, and everything. And it will match that person with any other person that is, who is there in the organization. And we will know that, okay, fine, he's a good fit, or not a good fit. So there's a term called, company culture.
Yeah.
So every company has a different culture, and they
Definitely.
have to maintain that culture. If they bring in somebody who is not a good fit for that culture, he may be a really good coder, he may be a really good marketer, he may be a really good accountant, but if he is not a good fit for that culture, he will not progress. He will not be able to work.
Okay.
Neither other people in the organization will be comfortable enough to work with that person. So this is a key.
I mean, I think like a lot of our listeners are going to be the employees, right? So we have been really talking about like how this system could improve employees, could make, could choose people who are better fit for the company culture. But how is this software going to improve the company's culture itself? Because some companies, they have toxic culture. A person could be extremely positive and they go to the company, that company's culture ends up making that person very negative as well. uh, are you guys working on that side of things as well?
Well, there are a few things that AI cannot do.
Yeah.
So this is purely human call.
Okay.
It's a decision by uh, people inside the company already leading the organization to improve that and make efforts to improve that. So culture is something which is extremely difficult to change, and I've been working like for quite some time, and when I hire people, I usually look at the personality first, the traits, and how good the person is. Skills can be taught, and
Yeah.
and, and skills can be taught. So you get a really good person and teach him how to do stuff, and then he's going to be a great um, contributor to the business, and he will grow himself and the company as well. If you do the otherwise, you get a really sharp and talented, skilled person, but he's not a good human being in other sense, and then he would come in and he will scare other people away, and the good people will start leaving the organization, and he will he will start going up, and since he will have that position, nobody will question. So that is something which we need to um, cater for,
Yeah.
and AI can help uh, in the right places. When you have those assessments in place, you have those data detection techniques implemented
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, in the emails,
Yeah.
that can detect, okay, the tone of the email, the employees interacting with other people in Slack, how the employees interacting with each other. So it can basically pinpoint as well. Okay, fine. This is something which we don't do here, and this is detected. And
Ye-
you have that easily that in I think in public in charts as well.
Mhm.
When you are typing any inappropriate, so it will not.
Type, yeah.
Yeah, it will not execute.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like, because I would like to add this thing, and then we will go towards conclusion of this conversation. Uh, because recently I was having this conversation with, I think she was a chief people officer, something like that, right? I was having a conversation with her over LinkedIn, and she made a post about like AI and like people being threatened and everything. Since we are more focused towards the HCM and the HR department, like we're human resources people thing, and like as we have been talking in this conversation, I did point out like the the thing that like the HCM, it's not to replace humans, it is to give their time back. We are working on this thing to give their time back so they can focus on people, they can focus on the company's culture. And she made a really good point. She said like, if like the company grows with the people, if you're not spending time, if you're not investing on the people, there is no way the company is going to grow. You might see some growth like for a year or two, but like eventually it will just like boom drop.
Yeah, because the company is made up of people,
Yeah.
and if people progress, company progress. The companies who multiplied, uh, um, the many companies who basically have those small pods,
Yeah.
and then they encourage a startup culture within the company. Any employee has any idea,
Mm-hmm.
they they come up with those ideas, and then they invest, and then they create a pod for them,
Mm-hmm.
and then they make them the CEO of that startup, and
Yeah.
then they incubate within the company.
Yeah.
When that grows to a certain size, that transitions out to become a
They become, yeah.
yeah, sister company, and then the ecosystem starts building, and so do they like group of companies, so from a single company.
Yeah.
So that is only possible if you have a really good
People culture, people feel safe to share ideas and everything. So have anything to conclude, any concluding messages to people? We've been having this conversation a lot. Like I know some people are really panicked about AI and everything. Okay, so is there anything that you would like to say to conclude this conversation?
um, the only thing I think the people are panicking about is their jobs right
Yeah.
now, because they have this fear that they will be replaced, and companies, few organizations have that mindset that, okay, fine, now that we have AI, we can reduce costs, we can cut down on human resources. So the bright side to this is that for companies, they are optimizing the efforts. They are basically, they should be looking at, instead of reducing the workforce, they should be looking at reskilling them. They should be looking at allocating them to different other avenues, and cultivating a very positive culture and growth culture, just like I mentioned, creating pods,
Yeah.
and instead of letting them go, let them grow within the company. They will join some other company and they will grow over there. Why not give them an opportunity here? Since we have AI, you can do wonders.
Yeah.
And for employees, even if you're laid off, you don't have to worry. You have AI, and you're capable, right? And you can do anything with the help of AI. You can start up your own organization as well. The the kids, there are kids 12 years, 14 years, 16 years, they're starting up their own business, and you have been working in the organization for like at least a year or 2 or 3 or 4. So you have a much greater chance of getting that success if you do it on your own. And that is my piece of advice. And if you feel, you still feel threatened, you should look at upskilling yourself, learning yourself, and learning from new stuff that is coming out in the, how can you use AI in your domain. And it's all about learning. If you're learning every day, you don't have to be scared. You will be there. You will be with a very good future. Um, if you are willing to learn, if you're willing to um, invest in yourself. So
Exactly.
that's the only thing. And because there are people who just want to sit in one place
Yeah.
and they just have that comfort zone. You have to move out of that comfort zone. So you may have heard this from several other people. It may not sound nice, but this is how this world is designed. Because since the beginning of this world, you have to learn, unlearn, then learn new things, and adapt to changing environment. Either you can be the followers, or either you can be the leaders. The choice is yours. So either way, uh, I think if you're moving forward, if you, if you're following somebody, or if you're leading, in in both the situations, you'll be in a good shape. Unless you're not doing anything, you're not following anybody,
Yeah.
and you're not leading as well, then this is something alarming. I mean, then probably you need to work on yourself more.
All right. So, thank you, Sohaib, for really insightful conversation. I mean, like we every day we get to learn something new from you. I mean, apart from the podcast, apart from this conversation, every day I get to learn a lot of things from you. And I mean, I sometimes I do
And
bother you.
it's likewise. It's likewise. You come up
Thank
with
you,
different ideas, and we get to hear a lot of new stuff that's happening.
guys. He meant I'm smart. So anyway, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next conversation. Hopefully, we have something better for our audience. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself, guys. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.